Awesome. Good morning, everybody. What is shaking? It is your boy Jason Gulick. It is Wednesday, December 10th, approximately 6:30 Arizona time, 7:30 Houston time for my guy Mark Klodzinski, who is here but not on camera and will be helping produce and participate. And today's guest is the founder of the ISCA, Mr. Steve Wiliams. Good morning, Steve. How goes it today?
I'm very well, thank you. It's good afternoon here. I'm currently in the UK. It is 1:30 p.m.
There we go. See, so what we're doing here is we're telling people what time it is. Um, we're giving them information in case they're placing betting. You know what I mean? Like when the sports people, we're looking at you live. It's the weather, so that way you know what to bet on. No, I'm kidding. I kid. So what's new, man? How goes it? You've been traveling, doing some conventions. What's the word?
Yeah, so it seems I'm always on the move. I'm currently not even in my own home. We've been put in temporary accommodation for about 8 weeks because we have a water issue. So if I'm not traveling the world, then I'm evidently still not able to live in my own home. So yeah, we enjoyed the solar panel cleaning convention in Las Vegas last month, which was tremendous. We had nearly a 50% uplift in attendees this year.
Oh,
So we
wow.
had I think we had 105 attendees at the convention this year, which for year two is phenomenal. So that was the solar panel cleaning convention. We had more than double the amount of vendors there this year than we had last year. We also had the ISCA Awards on the Las Vegas Strip, which was a very exciting event.
Yeah.
Lots of interest surrounding that, lots of competition actually this year as well, which was really, really good. So that carried more of a competitive edge this year than it did last. So yeah, it was nice to see so many smiling faces, so many happy people, so many people keen to learn about the solar industry because the solar industry is still relatively new when it comes to cleaning. There's been some long time people doing it, but as a boom industry, I'd say it's only really the last 3 or 4 years that it's got going. So yeah, it's quite an exciting space to be in right now.
Awesome. So normally what I would do too is, I gave you a little introduction, but let's do this too. Um, Steve, what is your title and what do you do with that title and how did you get there?
So I've got numerous businesses. I've got a business portfolio. I've got 8 businesses, 7 of which are currently based in the UK. One is in the US. I'm actually hoping to emigrate permanently to the US. So I'll be moving some of my UK businesses across there. For the purposes of today, I guess I'm the CEO of Clean Solar Solutions America, which is my American offshoot of my UK solar panel cleaning company. And also, the main reason I guess I'm here is because I'm the managing director of ISCA, the International Solar Cleaning Academy. And ISCA is a health and safety training and education body. We are in place to help solar panel cleaners come from zero knowledge to as much as we can teach them, or even take seasoned pros up to that next level. So we help in terms of health and safety, we help in terms of exposure, we help in terms of business development. Been very fortunate enough to win multiple awards for my work in the UK and in Europe. So I'm hoping to sort of replicate the success through my cleaning company in the US, but also spread the love, spread the word, spread the information via ISCA to help other people become equally as successful. So that's the sort of drive that I've got. But I originally came from the window cleaning industry. I had a window cleaning company for 26 years before I sold it. I know what you're thinking. I don't look old enough to have had a company that long, but I actually I actually have. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. I'm focused full time on solar now, and it's a very exciting industry and space to work in.
So as somebody who lives in Phoenix, Arizona, one of the sunniest, brightest fucking sun absorption states and places in the entire universe, it feels like. Solar
Yeah.
would definitely be something that might be interesting and lucrative for a guy like me. What would you say some of the most important steps are, or what are some of the things that a guy that would might want to look into or practice moving from
Mhm.
traditional and just window cleaning moving into a solar cleaning space?
So to date, solar has been viewed as a crossover add-on sort of side hustle for a lot of window cleaners, pressure
Yeah.
cleaners, roof cleaners, that sort of thing. The movement within the solar panel cleaning industry now is actually not that it's a side hustle, that it's a standalone industry.
Mhm.
So solar panel cleaning has been viewed as, well, window cleaning, but just on a roof or just in a field with the solar plants. But actually, the mode that we have and the ethos that we have at ISCA is that solar panel cleaning is not a cleaning task. Solar panel cleaning is live electrical work that involves cleaning. So when you look at things from that viewpoint, it changes very much the risk dynamic. So with window cleaning, yes, there's the risk of electrocution from overhead lines, which is well publicized and well talked about at the moment.
Yeah.
But because of how solar panels work, solar panels are always live as long as there is light hitting them. Contrary to popular myth, you can't turn panels off. It's one of the common misconceptions that window cleaners particularly have. Well, I'll go and turn off the big knobs by the inverter, and then that'll make the panels turn off. That's not the case. So you have to understand that you're working around live electricity 100% of the time. Therefore, that introduces different risks, different control measures, different levels of PPE. And really, we find that there's a massive need for education if you're going to upscale really from window cleaning into solar cleaning, or from pressure cleaning into solar cleaning. Your knowledge base needs to change totally, and your attitude towards safety needs to change totally as well.
Yeah, you've mentioned the PPE, the protective gear, and all the other stuff, and um, safety has been brought to the forefront a lot in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're familiar with Jason Knight's story. You probably may even
Yeah.
know him.
Yeah.
He was kind enough to join us on the show, and it's Windows, solar. It's a little different, but at the same point, safety is the number one concern, right? And
Yeah.
that's really what we're
Absolutely.
boiling down to.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate enough to meet Jason. Like many other window cleaners, I heard his story at the IWCA convention live. When I heard his tale on that day, I approached him and said, "Look, I'd like to create a new ISCA award. We'd like to name it after you." So
Oh,
ISCA now has an award named after Jason, the Jason Knight Safety Progress Award.
That's
And
awesome.
this year we gave that award out to a young man, Austin Moyer from Nomadic Home Services. And Austin is like a sponge when it comes to safety. If there's a safety course, or if there's a piece of PPE to buy, or if there's a new way of accessing a residential roof that makes him safer, Austin is all over that. And so we felt that he was a worthy winner of that Safety Progress Award. And it's an award that we're going to have year in, year out at the ISCA Awards. And also, we're running an in-person ISCA class in Bristol in the UK in March 2026, and Jason has agreed to come along as a guest speaker to that event as well. So, yeah, his
bravo.
tale is tragic, but it's also a very inspiring tale as well.
When Jason was on, and I don't want to take the focus away from you and go to that or something, but when he was on, listening to him also relay a story that he's told on numerous occasions,
Hmm.
seeing it, feeling it on a one-on-one conversation, um, it changed the way I think about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Severity, the seriousness of what it is that we do.
Yeah, life
Yeah.
can change in an instant and you're not even aware, you can be oblivious to what's going on and boom. So yeah, safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, the things that we think that we have done countless times, and but it's always just we're just that close so quickly, so often. So
Yeah.
I think that's awesome that you guys named the award after him. It's so stellar, and you're right, absolutely. That's amazing. I just can't. He's got to have been feeling over the moon on that one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Hey,
Yeah, he is making a difference, bringing safety awareness, and it is a good thing.
absolutely. Hey, so we have a couple of our friends in here, and I'm not exactly sure whom all you know, but Craig Hensel is in the room. Our buddy Squeegee Tom, Jessica Battle, Harry Sierra, Charles Smith, whom we affectionately call Chuck D. Let's see who else. Damien is here. Chris Eckstein, Adam Hogan, Gabe Gutierrez from the IWCA and Squeegee U.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people in the building, but a couple questions for you. One of them, do they now or will they ever have a class where they teach solar panel installs, basics, even under smaller units for the basic knowledge?
Okay, so I'm assuming that's in terms of cleaning and not solar panel installation. So
I would
cleaning,
imagine so.
yeah. So if somebody is interested in that, I would encourage them to attend the Elevate convention. That's the joint convention that's
We'll
being
be
held
there.
by PWNA and IWCA.
Yeah.
So that's in February in Orlando. I've been kind enough to being asked to that event, and I'll be doing 3 classes there. So on the Tuesday, which is the day before the official convention starts, on the Tuesday, I'll be doing the full ISCA training. So that's a certified class. That's the foundation class that I'll be taking in the morning, which takes people with zero knowledge to a stage where they can work safely. They will leave the room knowing exactly what it takes to work safely. And Gabe actually took that class last month in November. I think he was there at the training on the Friday. And then in the afternoon, I'm going to be doing a specific PV fire safety class, which is one of the ISCA advanced classes. And that will teach people more in-depth information about how they, as a solar panel cleaner, can actually increase fire risks. And also, if they discover a fire, what to do about that event as well. So that's the paid class on the Tuesday. But on the Thursday and the Friday, we've got 2 3-hour classes. One is about solar panel safety awareness, which is just a hazard awareness class. And then the second one on the Friday from 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. is how to choose the right equipment for the right job. Because not one piece of equipment won't service you well on every solar panel clean. So understanding what equipment is out there and how to work safely with that equipment and on what array you use that equipment, they are 2 free classes that will be at the Elevate convention.
So I land on a Tuesday. What time is your class? Do I need to change my flight dates or what's the deal? Like,
Yeah, so
I need to get this information.
So it's a full day on Tuesday, okay? There's a lot of information to pack in because we're doing 2 classes, which we normally do in a day and a half. We're going to do it in a day. So I think we're starting at 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning with the foundation class. That will run till about, I think, 1:30 p.m. And then from 1:30 p.m. to the end of the day, we're going to do the advanced PV fire safety class. So you may well be better off seeing if you can change your flight and come in on Monday.
I may have to do that Monday night and wake up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, with
My problem is, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just going to say my problem is sitting still for a long extended period of time. So I go to these events and I go to these conventions and I soak up as much information as I can, but a lot of times after an hour, 90 minutes, I'm like, all right, I can't sit still. I can't move. My back is all jacked up, so I have to get up and wander around. So, oh my Lord.
So I
But
try and combat that with 3 things. One, I'll try and wear a shirt that will keep you awake. So that's angle number 1. Secondly, the information is pretty gripping when you understand what it is that we're dealing with and what we're talking about with solar panel cleaning. The information is very interesting. And then thirdly, I try and make my delivery pretty lively to keep everybody awake.
Well, I can tell by your demeanor, by your presentation already, just for being on a goofy show here with Mark and I, that you know exactly what you're doing. You can keep the audience engaged, and you're probably pretty damn good at what you do.
Yeah, I've seen this, Steve, over the past couple of years. You know, in years past, I think you had the mohawk at some of the events. Like you were
that's
really
it.
loud,
Yeah.
and you got a lot of attention, and you were
Yeah.
solar panel cleaner of the year type deal.
I'm considering bringing the mohawk back and having a comeback. We're going to see what we do in February.
Awesome.
That's a good look, dude. So I saw that picture too. I didn't see the live stuff, but I did see the photos. And speaking of the photos, Craig Hensel wants to know, do you play the piano? Is that the one of him? The video I saw of him? If yes, who is your favorite to play?
I have recreationally played the piano in the past at a very, very novice level. I'm probably about as good as playing chopsticks and Star Wars, and that's probably where I end. So if it's anybody decent he's referring to on the piano, it's not me.
Yeah.
Well, he just loves music and he likes to get down. He's the best. Are you, do you know Craig Hensel?
I think I've seen some of his posts on Facebook, and I think we may have exchanged the odd comment or two. Yeah, yeah.
I would imagine that you have. He also has a booth.
Dubois.
Dubois. He has a booth at the IWCA.
Okay.
They'll be presenting what is, or they have rolling with the window cleaning, and it is
Okay.
basically a history of window cleaning. It's just amazing.
I saw a post about this. I think he posted the other day saying he was lucky enough to be near WCR and Ettore. I think I saw a post about that.
You did. And
Yeah.
he and his stepdaughter, Grace are basically fourth generation. You know, he's third, she's fourth generation window cleaners. The knowledge the two of them have, you know, they'll forget more than most people know. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
wonderful resources to have in our industry, and
That's cool.
they're amazing to be able to lean on and count on for guys like myself, Mark, and everybody in the industry. So
Yeah.
when you get a chance to meet him in February, I'm sure you two will have a blast.
I'll definitely touch base for sure.
Let's see. So now one of our listeners too, or watchers, Cody says he's done close to 15 solar jobs. I'd hate to be judged on how I clean them. I think common or one of the things that I've learned here in Arizona when I'm cleaning that drives me nuts too is sometimes I think I have cleaned a solar panel or it looks clean and then you walk away and it's still foggy and or you don't have everything completely rinsed or looks
Yeah.
shiny for 5-10 minutes and then you're pulling out of the driveway and all of a sudden it looks like shit. Um,
Yeah.
what are some of the easier steps and or what are some of the things that can help cleaners make sure that they're doing the job properly?
So the first thing literally that comes into my mind is there's a company called Chemitech Solar, who I'm sure that many of your listeners are familiar with. I think you can purchase their chemical. You can definitely purchase their chemicals through a couple of retailers. I think WCR and Tucker supply them, I think. So it's worth checking out the Chemitech range. One of them, I think, is an anti-static coating, so you can mix that in with your DI water, and then when you're cleaning with that, it will remove the dust easier. And also, it leaves like a very slight anti-static coat in there so that it's harder for the dust to reaccumulate. I think
That's
also,
pretty groundbreaking. I mean, that's a pretty cool additive to clean solar panels because for years it was
yeah,
no soaps, no nothing on solar panels. And then I think last year I read somebody was using soap. But this Chemtech thing, that sounds great.
Chemitech do a range of products. So if you've got cement on solar panels, or if there's oxidization from metal filings that have been in the air, or lichen growing on solar panels, it's not so much of a problem in Arizona, but in places like Hawaii, you get the fungi and the lichens grow, and so they do a range of products to help you with all sorts of different types of soiling. So that's really good. And then the other thing that to do with sort of the dust that's left over, especially in places like Arizona, is I've cleaned solar panels extraordinarily well. I know that I have, but you get atmospheric dust and you can see it if you're near a building site or a quarry or something like that, and the dust is blowing over. There isn't much you can do about that because if you're using ultra pure water to DI water to clean the panels with, we all know it's very, very absorbent. It really wants to attract dirt, as much of it as quickly as possible. And so if there's atmospheric dust, you can literally be there all day and you can clean those panels over and over and over again. And you may well leave a film of dust on there because of the water drying, picking up dust particles in the air. So in some instances, it's unavoidable. So I wouldn't beat yourself up. You can only do what you can do. But I do recommend people checking out the Chemitech range. It's a very useful set of chemicals to help us in our industry.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that stuff. I do one solar panel a month, maybe. I've got the cougar paws get on the roof. I've had customers with paint overspray on panels, and I've told them basically there's nothing I can do to help you. only because I don't know, there's paint removal, there's mildew removal, concrete removal stuff. So that coming out is important.
Yeah, no, they're really good, and they were exhibitors at the solar panel cleaning convention, and they were actually this year's sponsors for the ISCA Awards as well. So they are a very reputable company. They're based out of Portugal, but they do have US suppliers. So I'd encourage everyone to sort of track their chemicals down.
Hey, so Steve, we have a buddy of ours, Mason Hembry. He wants to know, speaking of equipment, have you seen effective drone usage on solar jobs, or are they just rolling robots and are heavy equipment tractors better? Or is this going to be some information he can learn in some of your classes?
Yeah, it's exactly what we're going to discuss in the class at the Elevate convention on the Friday about choosing the right equipment for the right job. Drone cleaning is very much in its infancy. I haven't personally seen effective drone cleaning that will bring the panel standard of clean up to where robots can. I haven't personally seen that. But again, Chemetech are very forward thinking. They've released a drone cleaning chemical. I've seen it. I don't know a huge amount about it myself, but I believe that, if anything is to be based on their previous track record, if anybody's going to come up with an efficient method, it would be Chemetech. But then it comes down to the drone operator. It comes down to what sort of drone. It depends on water flow. There's a lot of different things that it can depend on when it comes to the standard of finish. And also, to be frank, it depends on what your client is after. Do they want panels that they can eat their lunch from, or do they just want to remove the dust and they don't want spotless panels? So the client will have different expectations. Clean to one person is not clean to another person. So clean is a very relative term. And so I think that if you manage your client's expectations with drone cleaning to say, look, we can probably remove 80-85% of the dust here, but if you want a spotless finish, then I'd probably recommend going with a robot. That's probably a sensible way to approach an inquiry like that.
So for those of us who are rather new to the solar cleaning, or have done it but have not used robots or anything like that, I use Zero system, not 20-inch PWP brush, which is one of WCR's brands. Beautiful big fat scrubber brush, couple jets, just scrubbing, going at it. You know what I mean? It's a sufficient way to clean.
It is. I mean,
in your opinion.
Yeah, it is an efficient way. It's not the most efficient way to clean, but I was cleaning solar panels since 2012. I got my first robot in 2018, and up until that stage, there was no rotary brush that I could use like Solar Cleantech stock or WCR stock. There was no robots around until 2018. And the biggest ground-mounted solar farm that we cleaned up until that stage was 189,000 modules. So we cleaned 189,000 panels manually. There was 8 of us.
Hold on. Stop a second, real quick. Sorry. Did you just say 139,000 panels manually?
I said 189,000 panels manually.
Sorry, I was 50K off. 189,000 panels manually?
Yeah.
How long did that take?
We were there for 3 months.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your story, but that just sounded like insane numbers.
Yeah, and it is, it is insane because that was the only equipment we had available at that time. Whereas now you've got big tractor mounted systems, you've got robots with wide brushes, and so there are more options available now. And so certainly for residential homes, a water-fed pole is going to be more than ample. I won't deep dive into the safety elements too much on this conversation because it's a big topic. Yeah. But if you are using a water-fed pole, you need to be aware that that is a conductive piece of equipment. You need to be aware that you are leaving yourself open to electrocution if you're using a water-fed pole alone without insulated sections. And even if you're using insulated sections, you still need to be looking at wearing the correct PPE. So that's a big topic that's wide open for discussion. But making sure really that you're safe should be any solar panel cleaner's prime objective. Beyond that, you need to look at what budget you have available for equipment. But initially, if you're going to go and clean a solar panel of any sort, you're probably looking at investing around $1,000 in PPE. That would be, the whole suite of PPE that you would need. So if you're not prepared to make an investment in your PPE of about $1,000, you shouldn't be cleaning solar panels. That's step one. Beyond that, then you look at the rest of your budget and you decide what is the most cost-effective equipment for you to buy.
Got it. So I was actually, because we were going to have you on last month during or right after the ISCA, I was kind of following and tracking what was going on over there. And it looked, so one of the things I noticed was I loved how some of the vendors actually had their goods out to sell right there. And
yeah,
in my opinion, one of the best ways and easiest ways to get people to buy and or do make a purchase, have it readily available, have them be able to touch, hold, feel, see, you know what I mean? Slide their
yeah,
hand into like gloves or whatever it is.
yeah,
And I thought that was a really great way to get equipment in people's hands.
yeah.
Now I've been to one IWCA. Do you know if there's going to be anything like that going on this year with any solar info?
Yeah, so ISCA will be there. We're gonna have our PPE there, so we will have the whole suite of PPE available for people to purchase at the show. I think it's also relevant saying in this conversation that years ago when I delivered the ISCA training, I had like some pretty brutal electrocution videos in there and some brutal photos in there. And one person, we always gave a strong disclaimer, if you don't like this sort of thing or you might be upset by this sort of thing, then leave the room and we'll call you back in before we showed it. One person decided to stay in anyway, despite us saying that, and still managed to get upset. So we took the videos and the photos out of the presentation. Now, we noticed when we did that the PPE purchasing side of it after the class went down. It's like, why has it gone down? And so this year, when we had the training at the convention, I said to people, look, we've got videos and photos of electrocutions and what this job can actually do to you. Do you want to see them? Do you think we should put it back in? And there was a resounding yes. I was shocked, really, but shocked. That's a really good pun, isn't it?
No pun intended or pun intended.
That's it. So I was surprised that people did want to see those brutal images and videos, and so we reintroduced it back into the training now. And so we need to figure out how on the online training we filter those photos so that people can skip them if they want to. But I've got the photographs of the unfortunate individual in Pakistan who was killed from electrocution this year from solar panel cleaning, and I was sent the photos actually of his body and of his hands, and it's brutal. It's like Jason's incident. It's brutal to see the photos of that, but it does bring it home as to how serious the accident can be should the accident happen. And the thing is with window cleaning, even if you're working at height, right, you can look around, the building you're working on, you can see down to the ground, how far away you are from the edge of that roof, how far you're going to fall if you're going to fall off that roof. The problem we have with electrocution is that the risk of it is often unseen. There is no, flashing light. There is no beeping noise that says I'm a dangerous solar panel. But I'm a dangerous panel. There is no warning sign. You're either not being electrocuted or you are being electrocuted. There is no midway point. And so that's the danger with electrocution, is it often the risk is unseen, which is why you need to be very diligent in terms of wearing the PPE.
Oh yeah, I once changed the back dryer outlet vent, my dryer. So I had my wife like, hey honey, let me know when the light goes off in the dryer room. "Oh, it's off. Okay, the light is off. I'm gonna change this thing." So I put on rubber boots, rubber thing. As soon as I hit that connector, it was the brightest flash I've ever seen. I didn't get
Yeah.
zapped. I was kind of off, but and that's just a household breaker, and that's the stuff that's on the roof. That'll knock you for a loop.
Geez, I've
Yeah.
done the same thing, bro. When we moved into our house in 2019, I think I was plugging something in or did something, and I was just like, bro, it's just a fucking plug. You can just, it's like everything else, shove it in the hole, right? Something
That's
wasn't.
what she said.
Yeah, that's what she said. Well, when I shoved it in the hole, I saw the brightest light and heard the loudest pop. So yeah.
So you guys over there are dealing with 110 voltage out of the power outlets, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I was talking about a dryer, which is the double, but yeah, for the most part.
Okay, so you're dealing with 110. You will get a bolt if you shove something metal in a power socket at 110. Over here in the UK, we're dealing with 240 out of the wall.
Yeah.
On a residential solar array in the US, you can be talking about 600 volts. On a commercial rooftop, you can be talking about 1,000 volts. And on a utility scale ground mount system, you're looking at 1,500 volts. Now, I don't know how much you know about the electric chair that you guys use in some states over there, but in the chair, the voltage starts at 500 volts. So the voltage that you're dealing with when you're cleaning with a house with a residential array sits in that window of where they start with a chair at 500 volts. So it really is something to take seriously, and people do not understand the voltage they're playing with when they're cleaning solar panels. It's one of the real eye openers when people do the ISCA training is the amount of voltage that run through solar arrays.
Yeah, I would have had, I never even thought about it either. Like, and I've been washing windows for about 20 years, a little more. I don't do too many solar panels. I mean, it's just something that I don't do very often. But when I did, it wasn't even a thought in my mind until within the
Mm.
last 6 months to the last year. Oh shit, I just lost myself. Last 6 months to the last year or so is when I really started paying attention. And I also realized that, look, I don't want to be on a roof or be doing any of this stuff until I have the knowledge. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's just rather safe than sorry. Let's just say that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
guilty of not having any training, and I go up and clean them. I mean, I've seen YouTube. I've educated myself enough, but by no means am I PPE'd out or safe to be up there.
yeah. And the thing is, guys, right, is that I was window cleaning when I was asked to clean my first solar panels, and they were easy to access. They were on a single story building. I could actually clean them from the ground because of the pitch of the roof. In my head, I, I I looked at it and I knew nothing about solar panels at that time. And I thought, I'm going to spray water onto electricity creating devices
yep.
with what was at the time a metal pole in my hand. Now, that's how I ended up with a mohawk. No, it's not. But I knew that spraying water onto electricity creating devices with a metal or carbon pole in my hand could do magical things to me. And so I said no to that client for
Yeah.
6 months. I cleaned their windows every month for 6 months and I said no to them every time. And it wasn't until they really pressed me and said, we can't find anybody in the UK to clean our solar panels. And because they were an older
Ding.
customer, I said, you type in the wrong thing into Google, I'll find you a solar panel cleaning company. So I finished work early and I went home and I tried to find a solar panel cleaning company anywhere in the UK and I couldn't do it. And that's what sent me on my journey of self-education. I called some companies in California, Spain, and Germany who proposed to be solar panel cleaners. I asked them, how are you protecting yourselves from electrocution when you're spraying water onto these electricity creating devices? And they all came back with the same answer, which was, we've never thought of it. And so that's the common thread, and that's what I still continue to see when I travel the world now, is that people, window cleaners, haven't even considered that as a risk. But when it's highlighted to them, it makes a lot of sense.
I've had a reputable solar panel installer. I've had their team reach out to see if I can go clean some panels, and in my questions, they wanted to know if I could clean the panels with a pressure washer. So I had to say, wait, you're a solar panel installer, correct? Yeah. And you're telling me to clean it with pressure washing? Yeah. So you guys I think you need to hire somebody in your department to figure that out. I can't help you, and I kind of hung up
Yeah.
on them.
No, no, absolutely. And the installation side of the industry are certainly not the people to be listening to when it comes to cleaning, What I find interesting, you've mentioned installers deeds, so I'll talk about this.
Yeah.
In the US, in the UK, Australia, Canada, all of the major health and safety bodies all over the world, every single one of them requires qualifications to become an electrician. You have to do formal training. You have to have a piece of paper that says you're qualified to be an electrician. As well as that, if you're going to install solar panels, you need to do additional formal training. You have to have additional certificates to say, yes, I'm an electrician, but I've been trained now to do solar. Now, a solar installer's work, 99% of it is when the system is off. That system is not live. Now, if a solar installer has to have certification to say that they're qualified and trained to work on a system when 99% of the time it's off, how are we, as a solar panel cleaning industry, spraying water onto live solar panels, not required to have formal training and certification? And this is one of the big drives that ISCA is having over the next 12 months. We're reaching out to the likes of OSHA, we're reaching out to the likes of SWA in Australia, we're reaching out to HSE in the UK to say, we demand formal training. We demand certification for solar panel cleaners because the risk is so high. How can you demand formal training from people who work on dead systems, but you don't require it of people who are spraying water on live systems? It just doesn't stack up.
Yeah, definitely.
Dude, all this stuff makes me think so much more than I was prepared to think at 7:09 in the morning.
It's just, I mean, you're essentially cleaning windows on a roof that are live current running through them. You know, it's not just like a pane of glass where you can rinse, 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 and you're done. There's a lot more to it, you know.
And it's not just live current. When you're dealing with live current around your house, you're dealing with AC current all of the time. When you're working around solar arrays, you're dealing with DC current. DC current reacts differently. It enters the body differently. It affects the body differently. And these are the things, again, that people don't understand that we teach on the ISCA training. What's the effect of DC current on your body? All of that is covered in the ISCA training. And when you understand the devastating effect it can have, at that stage, you want to PPE yourself up to the eyeballs. You never want to come near DC current because of how it reacts with the body.
So, Steve, we have Mark Tanner in, who's, very much like Craig Hensel, somebody who's been around a fucking long time, who knows his stuff, who's got it all on lock. But he says, I've had two electrical engineers tell me if you're on the roof, you're much safer. You're not on the ground, or pardon me, much safer. You are not a connection to the ground, whereas on the ground, much larger chance of electrocution. Does that make sense to you? Or is that...
Send those installers my way. I'd love to discuss the science of that with them. They're just plainly incorrect. And, I'm able to back my statements. I'm here publicly. Everybody knows my name. Everybody can track me down.
Yeah.
If those installers want a discussion about it, I'll discuss it with them, but I can categorically say that they're wrong.
Got it. Well, and he's not stating it. He's stating that two other people have told him that. So I'm glad that he cleared that up too. Because the more I feel like, well, you probably don't know this, but in out here we had these commercials when we were growing up. Is like the more you know, basically. So
the more you know.
Yeah, it was like on a Saturday morning when you're watching your cartoons, and they'd be like,
"Don't eat paint, kids, because paint doesn't taste good."
Yeah, and then it'd be like, the more you know. But
do not put curling tongs into any orifice.
Yeah, right.
The more you know.
Not every orifice. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, you're conductive on the roof, right? The water hits the panel, it can create, and it can just travel down the line, down the hose to your unit, and you're holding onto it. You're going to be blown. It's
science. You can't argue with it, And this is the other thing that people constantly sort of spit back is that, well, OSHA doesn't apply to me because I'm a one-man operator. Okay.
Blow your ass up.
Yeah, the laws of OSHA don't apply. Okay, but the last time I checked, if you're working at height, the law of gravity applied to you. And the last time I checked, the law of electricity applies whether you're a one-man operator or whether you've got 10 vans on the go. So they are the laws of nature that we deal with in ISCA, not necessarily the laws of the land. The laws of the land are there to guide you, and we quote them because actually abiding by OSHA guidance will keep you safe when you're solar panel cleaning. Even though they might not be able to issue citations, the advice that they provide still is good, whether you're a one-man operator or whether you're an employer.
Yeah, we're all ignorant sometimes, and we just like to think that the laws and the nature doesn't apply to us, but it doesn't until we get
I'm always surprised about like the UK and their safety with ladders. They don't let window cleaners. I mean, this is strange to me, but it's for safety reasons, keeps people safe.
Yeah, and when you look at the risk hierarchy that OSHA put out, actually, even though in the US you don't have specific, we have the working at height regulations 2005, which applies to ladders in the UK, but the working at height hierarchy in the US kind of matches the 2005 regulations we have here anyway. So ladders are okay to use according to the 2005 regulations as a last resort. And if you look at the OSHA risk hierarchy for working at height, ladders are okay to use as a last resort. So the two do mirror each other, but the application is much stricter in the UK, I think.
So you mentioned that you're considering coming out to the States for like permanently. Do you have
Mhm.
ideas on where you'd like to put yourself on the map?
Yeah, so I
Yep.
will be finding out my visa application. I'll be getting 100% yes or no by Christmas Eve, by the 24th of December. I'm
Awesome.
applying and have applied for an O1 visa, which is a very unusual category of visa. That will give me 3-year entry into the US. And I can get a green card off the back of that visa as well. And I'll be moving to Vegas. So we've already checked out apartments that we want to
Terrible.
move to, things like this. So we'll be based out of Summerlin on the west side of Las Vegas. So up the road from you, Goo, and it'd be
Yeah,
good
man.
to
You're
meet
only
at
4 hour
some
drive,
point.
bro. I got you.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll meet up for some beers at some point, definitely so. Yeah. So
Done.
Vegas is the only place I'm considering. It's very good. My my girlfriend, my fiance, she flies for Qantas, the Australian airline based out of Heathrow in London. So she'll commute from Vegas to Heathrow. She'll then fly from Singapore or fly to Singapore or Perth, back to Heathrow, then go back to Vegas. But
So
it's
she's
good for us.
lined up.
I really, oh, she flies. This girl flies, yeah. So we will have a really good international airport there. It's a really good airport that is well connected, obviously, with the rest of the US, so I can fly to business meetings and meet clients and all the rest of that. The biggest sort of solar shows and conferences that I speak at and attend and exhibit at, they roll out of Vegas as well. There's a lot of solar panels that need cleaning in Vegas, and so for
Never
me, it's
ending.
just the perfect spot. That's aside from the world-class entertainment, restaurants, and bars.
I think you're gonna. I see you picking up a second gig as a lounge act and as doing maybe a little stand up. There you go.
I'll
Little
try and do it all. Believe
little
me, I'll
side
try and do
hustle.
it.
So, what were some of your favorite events when you were at the last convention? Like, you got to hang out with some people. I know you ran into Hargis and who else did you run into?
Um, I'll tell you who we missed at the convention, at the solar panel cleaning convention this year, is Mike Draper. And I know that you've had Mike on the
Yeah,
podcast recently. I keep in touch with Mike regularly. We're very aligned when it comes to this solar safety thing, as you can well imagine.
yeah.
So Mike was missed not by me, just only me, but by a number of people. So yeah, Mike was absent. Kevin was there. We had a really interesting panel discussion, which was, I think, the first time ever we managed to get Alex from WCR, Sean from Tucker, and Steve Blythe from Racenstein, and we had Paul West from Zalvis, who are a startup water-fed pole company. We had all four of those guys on there on a panel to discuss with Kevin Hargis actually the importance of water-fed pole safety and how those poles can be made safer. Now, concentrate on the word that I said, how they can be made safer. We don't feel there will ever be an electrically safe water-fed pole. That's not the aim of what we're looking to do, but how can we introduce safer poles? And I think alongside of that is how can we increase the awareness of the conductive nature of water-fed poles. And so that was a really, really positive thing. The guys there, it's a very competitive marketplace, but they pushed all of that to the side to have a very constructive conversation on what are we going to do as an industry to make sure that our purchasers of our products are staying safer. So that was really, really good. We also had Ryan DeHoop there, and he led a panel discussion, and we had Trevor Shamblin, Paul West again, and Manuel Mateo from Puerto Rico was there to discuss the pros and cons of owning a solar panel cleaning robot. So everybody thinks the robots are holy grail material. They are and they're not. When they work, they're great, but reliability seems to be an issue. And there's other, pros and cons of owning a robot as well. So that was a really, really interesting discussion, a panel discussion that we had there then as well. But, all of the key movers and shakers were at that solar panel cleaning convention. So we will be running it again next year. So it's worth people keeping an eye out on either the ISCA page or the Solar Panel Cleaning Convention Facebook page for that. So the Solar Panel Cleaning Convention also has its own website, so solarpanelcleaningconvention.com.
Yeah, hold on. Panel. I'm gonna punch this into cleaning. Hold on.
Solarpanelcleaningconvention.com. And some of the material has been taken down. We've kept up this year's program. And last week we added the photo gallery on there as well. So people get a real taste of what the event was like. And also there's photos on there from the ISCA Awards as well. So if people want to know about the convention, that's the website. If they want to know more about health and safety training, then it's www.theisca, so THEISCA.org. So theisca.org. And on there is like a lot of free information, a lot of free articles in the news section. We also run a premium membership side, which is more business development on the news articles. So if you become a premium member, you can unlock all of the premium paid articles as well. And there's lots of other benefits tied up, but I'm not going to sell it all. People can go on the website and check out the premium membership side of things on the isca.org.
So because Vegas is only a 4-hour drive for me, I was like this close to jumping in the truck and going to just watch and listen to that 4-person panel. Every time I've had the opportunity to listen to something like that, I always walk away with more knowledge than I would have ever imagined. And Alex Lambrinidis is somebody that I look up to. He's, whether he knows it or not, he's a mentor of a ton of us. He knows his shit, and he is as dialed into equipment and the knowledge of basically everything window cleaning and now in the solar aspect as well. And I just trust what some of you guys say, and I trust what some of you say more than I trust what others say. So that panel was like really eye-catching to me, and I was like, man, I really wanted to get down there that day, but it just didn't happen. But I was fortunate.
I've got an answer for this. So ISCA are literally all of the sessions on that day were videoed, and ISCA are in the process of doing all the editing on that video. You're going to be able to buy each one of the convention talks individually, or you can buy the bundle and you'll be able to buy the whole convention and watch it all online. So that's going to be available in the next week or two through the ISCA website. But that editing is literally going on as we speak. So you've not missed the talk. You are going to be able to catch it through the website in the future.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to that. It was cool that, cool for me. Excuse me. As soon as that convention was done, Gabe Gutierrez was flying back into Phoenix, which is a 2-hour drive from his house. But before he left from Phoenix to New Mexico, he stopped and we had lunch, and he kind of gave me the lowdown on how everything went. And one of the things that I love about Gabe too is he asked some of the best questions. You know what I mean? Like, it's very the way that he asks his questions is super thought-provoking, and he makes the answer really think. It's usually not just a set standard question. You have to like, all right, get those wheels turning before I start giving that information out, because it's a solid question. So I find that sometimes if you don't have the right questions, you don't get the right answer. So I'm really looking forward to hearing some of that stuff going on.
Yeah. And the insights that the likes of Alex bring to that panel is so good, because they are window cleaners, or have been window cleaners in the past before they were in WCR and Zero. And he and Chris are really, really knowledgeable guys. And they've shown so much support for ISCA over the last couple of years as well. They've sponsored various classes that we've run. I hope I'm not talking prematurely, but we're in talks about potentially sponsoring at the upcoming Elevate convention some of the ISCA classes, and we're hoping to sort of demo the zero poles there as well. So, not only I'm new to America, right? Okay, I've only been coming to America for 3 years, but I've soon figured out who the key people are that really lead the industry over there. And yeah, those guys
Big
they
hitters,
know
baby.
their onions. Yeah, they know their onions really, really, really well. And so I believe that they are engaged in the solar panel cleaning industry in a technical way as well as just a sales way. And so to get their insights and to get their input will be valuable moving forward, definitely so.
Yes, vendors who care about their customers and show the effort by advancing safety measures and trainings. That's very important.
Yeah, yeah.
So totally off topic. Craig Hensel is notorious for many things. One of them is for creating awesome images. He also creates awesome images and makes, puts them on clothing. He wants to know, can I make Steve some trousers with your image? So
Absolutely.
there's your answer, Craig.
Absolutely.
So
And if they're done in time, I will wear them for one of the ISCA classes at the Elevate convention. How's that?
I think
Yes, get those headshots to them immediately.
Bro, I can hear Craig from Ohio woohoo from the Trocadero Lounge.
Yeah, I'm not scared to wear loud clothes. As you can tell, you've only got to see the photos and the videos. So, yeah, sort me out, Craig, and I will send you some images, and I will happily trundle around the convention in your clothes.
God, now I have to I have to be there. I mean, I got my flight booked and everything. Now I need to change it from Tuesday to Monday, and then I just need to find out where Steve's going to be hanging out.
There you go.
And you're going to get
in the evenings, not too far away from a bar.
Right? So what is your favorite? What is your drink of choice?
I drink when I'm in the UK, I drink Scotch single malt whiskey. That's my go-to. I also drink a lot of French red wine, which is nice. Shouldn't say a lot, really, should I? It makes me sound like an alky, but I drink nice French red wine. And when I'm in the States, French red wine and single malt whiskey are extraordinarily expensive because of the tariffs that you have to pay over there. So when I'm in the US, I'm very much an old-fashioned guy. Yeah, any sort of twist on an old-fashioned, and I'm interested.
There you go. So Craig wants to know about your pant size, but you guys can talk about that off air. We'll get you all squared away on that. I'm excited to see. So I'll give you a little background on this too. Craig once took and put together. Are you familiar with Squeegee Life or?
I think I've heard of it. It's a podcast as well, right? Isn't it? Squeegee Life, yeah.
So Squeegee Life also has some merch and they have some towels and what have you. Craig and Grace put together and sewed a bunch of the Squeegee Life
they're orange towels.
The big
microfibers.
Riveted. What the fuck? Why can't I think of what the towels are?
Fish scale? No.
They're not fish scale, but they're big ass towels, like weaved towels. They sewed them all together and made a suit. And then he wore a suit around at the huge convention in Nashville for a whole night. And then he went out to the main strip in Nashville and went bar hopping, man. He's yeah.
A fashion icon. I like those sort of people.
Waffle weave, that's what it's called. Yes, he
waffle
is
weave. Yeah.
And also, I don't know anybody who's as excited or has more fun with what it is that we do. So I love bringing people like that together and hanging out with them just so, we all can get more knowledge. It's fun because when you get to those kinds of events, the knowledge that you soak in the daytime, it's knowledge that you need for your business or that you want to learn to help yourself grow personally and professionally. But then the nighttime, that's where the fun and the magic happens, baby.
Yeah, it is. It's all about that, getting around the right people. They say, don't they? It's who you know, not what you know. And that is so true. I've had certain mentors and I've still got mentors, online mentors and in-person mentors. I've got online mentors that are now dead, the likes of Jim Rohn. is exceptional with the material that he was putting out in the 80s and the 90s. And, you know, people like that, they've inspired me. I mean, it's a different story maybe for a different day, but my whole life changed because of a CD that was in a van that I bought from Jim Rohn. It was phenomenal. I bought a van, and the material that I heard on that CD that was already in that CD player changed my whole life. And you just don't know the impact that you can have on someone positively by you giving information out. And you also don't know the information you can hear from someone off of one conversation, which can change everything for you. So yeah, networking is where it's at, definitely.
Hearing that story reminds me of the Anthony Robbins personal power tapes from back in the
Yeah,
90s. We got like 45 tapes, and it's all
yeah,
subliminal. I mean, it's all positive. So, yeah,
yeah,
good people.
yeah, yeah, definitely so.
So how long are you going to be in the States on this next trip in February? And are you making any trips out prior to then?
Um, well, as soon as my visa drops, I'm coming out.
He
All of
said,
my
"Fuck it,
house is
I'm
packed
coming
up,
to
ready.
stay."
Yeah, literally, all of my house is in storage. Everything is in storage here in the UK, ready. So as soon as that visa drops, we're going to ship it out to the States. So I'm only in the UK at the moment because I don't have my visa.
You're
As soon
stuck
as that
there. Yeah,
comes,
you're getting
yeah,
the F
I'm
out.
moving
That's awesome.
tomorrow. So hopefully in January I'll be based out of Vegas full time, and then I'll be in Florida, I think, for a week to 10 days, something like that, around the Elevate convention.
Damn.
I'm definitely going to be there. I'm definitely going to be there from the Saturday to the Saturday anyway, because I've already got my hotel room booked. So I'm definitely there from the Saturday before to the Saturday of the convention. And I may well extend that trip if there's people that want to meet up and do whatever, you know. So I'm pretty flexible in my schedule.
Have you been to Florida yet?
Yes, I've been twice. No, once. No, I went once to Florida. I did the Universal parks with the kids and Gemma last year, and actually PWNA had their convention in Florida, and they asked if I would do a 1 hour safety class as well. So I did dip into the convention there last year to do just a free safety awareness class for PWNA last year. So it would be nice to be more engaged with that event this year and really sort of get my feet under the table and be able to deliver the full training and hopefully help people on their solar cleaning journey.
I can't believe I got to change my fucking flight now. Thanks, Steve. I was all excited. I got it all done. Like I'm ready to go. I'm proud of myself. I did something like a grown up. Yay. And I'm like, oh, now I got to go learn. There's some, there's something to say about going to these conventions, and then walking away with pertinent knowledge.
Mm,
So instead
mm.
of me going this time for socializing, I guess I'm going to go this time to try and learn a little bit. I appreciate it. Thank you for making me learn. God dang it, Steve. So, one more question, a couple questions, but somebody mentioned, and I think you did answer this too, but I just want to reiterate it. He said, "Is there a breaker that can kill the solar panels so I can water fed them, or do they not fully go off?" The answer is they do
No,
not go off, correct?
no, they don't go off. So I'll tell you this about the breaker. The breaker is actually called an isolator. So on a solar array, you have a DC isolator and you have an AC isolator. The sun hits the solar cells, that creates the electricity on the panels on the roof. That electricity flows into a DC isolator switch, and that isolator switch sits before the inverter. If you cut that switch, you're doing nothing more than stopping the electricity from reaching the inverter. The solar panels on the roof are still live. Okay, very important to understand that. If you turn off both switches, the DC and the AC switch sits after the inverter, and that will merely stop the electricity, the AC electricity flowing from the inverter to the property or to the battery. Okay. So whatever you do with both those switches is totally irrelevant. The panels on the roof will still always be live.
That's what I thought. So Cody says, I'm about to go call everyone this morning and cancel all my solar jobs until I get my proper PPE.
Do what?
Well, that that's not a bad thing. I've literally had people partway through the ISCA training stand up, leave the room, call their office and say, the guys that are on the roof cleaning those solar panels, we're going to cancel that job. We're going to pull them off the roof and we're going to buy all the PPE. So it really is that impactful. And that's happened, I think, 3 or 4 times where people have got up and after the class has finished, they've come to me and said, I called my guys off a job today, or we've got a solar job booked in for tomorrow and I've called the office and said, cancel it. Because you may get away with it. The reality is you may get away with cleaning it, but you only need a Jason Knight once and it
Yeah,
will
you can
change
get
your
away
life
with it
forever.
10, 20, 30, 100, 1,000 times.
Yeah, it's not worth
Yep.
$200 to get zapped off a roof in
No.
extreme issues.
I've been electrocuted twice, and I've had mild electrocutions twice. I really once came close to having a major electrocution from a damaged cable on a solar array, and it arced and sparks flew everywhere, and there was the crackling and the bang, and I was very lucky that day not to get electrocuted, but my 2 mild electrocutions, one left a burn mark on my elbow because I rested my elbow. I actually had my PPE on. Okay. I had my gloves on. I had my boots on. I had a t-shirt on and I had my water fed pole resting on the solar panels with water coming out of it. I didn't realize because I had my gloves on while I was cleaning that I was actually conducting electricity through the pole. And then when the customer bought me a glass of water, I rested my elbow on my water-fed pole and I got electrocuted through my elbow. So that left a black scorch mark on my elbow. I've been electrocuted twice, but they were mild. On that one day on that roof when it was all arcing and it flashed, I would have been, if I wasn't dead, I would have been in a lot of trouble that day because that was a big arc. And arcs are burning at around 4,500 degrees Fahrenheit, so they're not to be played with.
Oh my goodness gracious. That's about as scary as it gets, man.
Yeah, I realized that day I was lucky. It was about 20, 25 feet away from me. So it wasn't right by me. I actually pulled a cable that was resting on the solar panels and I wanted to pull it tight so that it would drop down between the gap between the solar panels. And as soon as I touched that cable and pulled it, it just arced everywhere. So as experienced as I am, I still came close that one day.
I think
Well,
the thing too is that we're putting our lives on the line for people's panels, but it also comes down to the installer too. You don't know if you're getting, there's a lot of solar panel installers out there who are not credible, who are terrible. And this is the
Yep.
kind of stuff you're going behind them and hoping to God that they've caught every connection, everything's tight and safe.
And you make a good point, Deeds, because solar installers don't do their job all the time correctly. And a lot of solar panel cleaners, when I have discussions on Facebook, they say, well, if the installer's done his job properly, then you're fine. And I
yeah,
say, yeah, the word is if. If he's done his job properly. And the other thing to bear in mind is that solar arrays degrade over time in a way that windows don't. Okay. The worst sort of degradation you're going to have on a window is it starts to mist up in the double glazing when the seal goes. That's the only real sign of degradation. But you can clean a solar array that's been safe for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. You go back that following year, something may have changed. A bird may have chewed through the cable. There may be a bird nest there that's causing it to overheat. There's all sorts of degradation failures that can happen on a solar array. So you can't presume that because it was safe last year, it's safe this year. And there's lots that we go into in the ISCA training. We cover all of this in that training. And if any people knew the value that was in there, everyone would do it. And I'm not saying that to make money. I'm just saying it because I know what's in there. And if there was anyone 12 years ago, 13, no, 14 years ago now that I could have paid $249 to learn what I teach through that training, I'd have taken out a loan for that money. I'd have found a way to kill to get that money so that I could get that sort of training. Because when I started, there was none of this available. ISCA do like a business in a box sort of package. I think it's 8 grand or something. And you get everything from no knowledge of solar. You do all the ISCA training. You do all the safety documentation. You have all the templates. We help you frame a company, brand a company. We help you build your website. We help you pick what software to use for route planning, what software to use as a CRM, what software to use as like client management. We go through literally everything that's in my head that I've learned for 14 years, I give out for 8 grand. And that's in-person training. I travel anywhere in the world to deliver that training. And it's 7 days solid, 8 hours a day. I would have literally taken out a loan at the beginning of my business to find out that level of information because it just would have saved me making all the dumbass mistakes that I made in the first place. And
Okay.
if you think about 8 grand of downtime and 8 grand of working slow and 8 grand of buying the wrong equipment, that initial investment all of a sudden becomes great value for money. And I wish that was around when I was setting out.
Absolutely. So when people attend the IWCA PWNA Elevate conference, your Tuesday event is part of the package, correct?
Correct, yeah. So the Tuesday is the training part of that package. You'll get the foundation course, which is the certification course. That's a solar panel cleaning technician foundation course. That's the main safety one. And then on the same day in the afternoon, we're going to deliver the PV fire safety training. And that dives into qualifications of firefighters versus qualifications of solar panel cleaners. We discuss the risks that firefighters expose themselves to versus the risks that solar panel cleaners expose themselves to. And we discuss, how we can avoid fires on our client systems in the future. We discuss what to do if there's an emergency. If there's an emergency, what sort of emergency plan do you have in place as a company? Who is going on the roof of an Amazon to clean 16,000 panels? And if there's a fire while they're up there, who has a document that they know their staff has read and abides by in order to evacuate that roof? That's the sort of stuff that we discuss in the PV fire safety, which is the advanced class.
So we're gonna wrap up here in a second, but I'm gonna ask a couple more questions.
Sure.
This isn't, and I almost don't even want to ask this question because I hate the the how much guy, right? That it
Yeah.
drives me nuts when people come into it. Actually, it doesn't drive me nuts because we all start somewhere. But
Mhm.
is there a standard rate where most people are charging per panel or per job, or you know what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, yeah. So how do we price a job? So pricing a job consists of many things. If you're in California, what you're pricing there is very different, I imagine, to what you're pricing in Wisconsin or Georgia, or it varies across the US. So you've got to look at your local area. And to be honest, the way that I price jobs is I look at my fixed costs and my overheads. What are my wages? What are my fuel costs? What are my accommodation costs? And we now just work on two things. I'm not interested in pricing per panel particularly. I look at my overheads and I look at what profit I need to make on top of that. So I don't give out any sort of pricing matrix unless I'm doing that one-to-one business in a box training, because it varies so massively across the states, right? You need to make your mind up as a business owner. What is my time worth? For some people setting out, that might be $50 an hour. For other people with multiple vans on the road that actually wealthy guys doing very well that don't need the work, they may look at it and say, well, my time's worth 250 an hour.
Yeah.
So it depends very much on where you are in your journey. It depends on what your overheads are, what your insurance costs are, and it depends on what profit you want to make. For me, I can tell you this, I use this as a rule. When I was window cleaning, if I wasn't earning 50% more on a solar job, I may as well have just carried on window cleaning. So there was an overlap period when majority of my time was window cleaning and some of my time was solar panel cleaning. So back then I was doing 250 £200 a day on windows, and which is about $280 a day on windows. So for me back then, I wanted to be doing 300 a day on solar. Otherwise, it wasn't worth making the switch, which is about 400 US dollars a day. That was back in 2012. So people can run with that. And I can tell you also that in the US, you guys charge a lot more per hour for window cleaning than we do here in the UK. So don't use my UK figures as a guide. They're way off compared to what the US market is about. But my advice is pick a number that you want to earn per day that's going to earn you a good profit, and that's your rate. Value your own time.
I love it. And for me personally, my rates haven't necessarily gone up for window cleaning a ton. Um, Everybody else keeps telling everybody to keep raising your prices and this and that, but I think if people have to take into account how much the industries have changed and grown. Yeah,
Mhm.
rates might be decent or whatever, but there's also way more options than there were 2 years ago. There's far, far more options than they were 5 years ago. So
Yeah,
the only guy in town anymore. You know what I mean? You're not the only
yeah,
cat.
yeah, yeah.
So be competitive. Don't, and not saying this to you, Steve. I'm telling this to our
Yep,
watchers and listeners. Be competitive.
yep.
Don't outbid yours or outprice yourself if you want the job, and really take into account what it is that you're doing. So instead of putting it out into the pro window cleaning universe, how much do I charge for this job? Really use your brain, use your noggin, think about what it is you're trying to make, and use the steps that Steve just mentioned, because that's where you're going to find your best ideas on what to charge.
I'll tell all of your watchers what's more important than price. More important than price is value.
Exactly.
People, people will pay for value. Now, you and I can look at the same job. Let's say 500 panels on a roof on an IKEA, as an example. You go and you submit a bid and you're $2,000. You're going to give them a one-page quote because that's what they want. They want a quote. Okay, so you're going to send a single sheet of paper and you're $2,000 for that job. I'm going to look at the same job. I'm going to send in my quote, which is going to be $3,000. I'm going to send them a JHA that outlines exactly how we're going to do that job. I'm going to send them an example report from an Amazon that I've cleaned in the past, which is a 27-page report. Your report may consist of one single sheet of paper, three before photos, three after photos, and one photo of a broken panel. Mine is going to give them a whole rundown of the health and state of that system. So if you're IKEA, straight away, as soon as our quotes land, your proposition is very different to my proposition. I can afford to be 500 bucks more expensive than you because I'm building value into my service. The actual cleaning of the panels is still the same. There's still the same number of panels, but the value that I'm giving my customer in terms of they know my safety measures, they know what sort of report and data they're going to get at the end of that process. That's why I justify my additional 500. And I've been very public about it, and I continue to be. Clean Solar Solutions, the brand, is the Rolls-Royce of solar panel cleaning. We deal with certain types of customers, and certain types of customers want to deal with us.
Yeah,
Not everybody is my client, okay? Not everyone can afford to pay what it is that we charge because they don't see the value.
correct.
But certain clients see the value. They want the quality. They want the Rolls Royce. And we are aiming at a specific type of market. And there is space for the Rolls Royce, and there's also space for the Fords. Um, and that's what I say to people is the more you educate yourself, the more you build your brand. You become from Ford to Volkswagen, from Volkswagen, eventually you reach a Rolls-Royce or a Ferrari standard. And some people are happy to sit being Ford. That's perfectly fine. There's a place for that. And there's also a place for the more prestige brands, let's say, as well. So more important than price, guys, if you want to improve your solar panel cleaning side of your business, is build more value. And the way you're going to build more value is through education, and education and training are the two ways that you're going to justify a higher dollar amount per hour.
Well said. And I love the thing too. It's know your value, know your worth, and what's the other one I was thinking? It's like build that value. You have to always
Yeah,
build that value.
you've got to justify the value. Okay. If somebody comes to you and says, well, why are you 500 more than the next guy? You need to be able to explain that. Well, Mr. Smith, my guys, I'm sending two guys there. I've invested $1,000 per man in their PPE.
Yeah,
Your other guys are not doing that. We've been ISCA trained. We spent $500 training both of them through the ISCA training. It's all value. I'm justifying my price to the client.
totally. Well, so I don't know if you've had an opportunity to catch the show or Mark and I's little gallivanting around the country and interviewing guys and gals. But one of the things that we like to do at the end of the show, Steve, is we like to give people an opportunity to say thank you, give shout outs, do a little gratitude to anybody that you like. Um, First and foremost, Mark and I want to say thank you for making the time for us, but and for our listeners and watchers. But I'd love to give you a couple minutes to, give anybody you'd like to give a shout out to.
Sure, that's really kind. So I thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity to come on your show and spread the message. Uh, I want to thank the likes of Alex and Chris who have shown their support for ISCA over time. All of the convention sponsors, they will all know who they are. Without that event, the awareness of solar panel cleaning safety doesn't go around. So I want to thank all those guys and girls that were there and all the attendees at the convention. I want to thank also, chiefly, I guess, my fiance Gemma, because I'm busy and I work a lot. I work obscene amount of hours, and as Elon Musk said, it's not healthy to work as much as I work. But Gemma brings a lot of values to my party in terms of support, and she allows me to spread my wings. So I want to thank her as well, which may sound a bit corny, but it is true. Without the right woman in your corner, you can't perform. Um, and so there's people in the industry that I want to thank as well. Like Kevin Hargis is a business partner to me, but also my best friend. So he's been a support to me in all sorts of ways. So I want to thank him, and Mike Draper on a professional level as well. He's a friend, and he's also trying to spread the same message as me regarding safety. So they are key people that I cherish in the US, and I hope to make more friends as I emigrate over there very soon. And I just hope that people don't view this as some Brit coming across there telling them how to do it. I want to explain and justify my value, not just in terms of my price, but in terms of knowledge. And I'll happily give people my time and my knowledge because I have other people's best interests at heart who I've never met. I want everybody to go home safe at the end of each working day. And that's what it should be about. And if we can make a profit along that path, all the best.
Hell to the yeah. Hey, Deeds, before I send it over to you, I just want to let Steve know something real quick. It's not corny at all. So we do this thing, Mark's wife helps out a lot on the show. My wife helps take my kids to school on days when we do the show.
My wife.
Yeah, so we also refer to we go old Borat style. And whenever one of us drops on my wife, the other one usually says my wife. So they are our biggest supporters. Your partner is definitely key. And I'm super glad that you gave Gemma a shout out because obviously you wouldn't be able to do what it is that you do without her assistance.
Yeah, it's very true.
So Deeds, who you got, bro?
Well, I just want to thank Steve for coming out today, and I want to thank you for doing the correct way to coming to America. Getting the visa, getting all that done, and coming over and bringing over some worth and some awesome experience and a business that you're going to help America greater. So, welcome to the U.S. I hope you get that visa sorted out, and we'll see you Christmas, Boxing Day, or so. Get over here. Are you going to buy that flight the minute you get it? The minute they admit it, you're buying the ticket and you're over here?
Yeah, literally. So we anticipate flying between Christmas and New Year. If they say yes on Christmas Eve, we're ready to rock. So we're coming out in the week between Christmas and New Year, and we're just going to sign up for our apartment. We know what area, we know what apartment complex we want to go to. They've always got apartments available. So we won't be hanging about. We will be coming to the States. And I hope that my visa analyst views my value in the same way as you do. I'm actually going for an O1 visa, which is extremely hard to get. It makes up 0.2 of all US visa applications. It's a very, very difficult visa category to get, but because of my skill set, that's the one the immigration
I think
lawyers...
you'll be fine. I think they're going to slide you in there. They'd rather have you in there than a halal waffle maker. But
if not, then
yeah.
I'll be talking to you next time, maybe from Dubai or Thailand. They're my backup options.
Dubai, yes. Well, I want to thank everybody. Again, thank you, Steve, for coming out this morning. I'm under the weather big time. I've been dealing with some blood pressure issues, but I'm hopefully on the mend. Again, thank you so much, and I'll be seeing you, and Jason will be seeing you at the IWCA here coming in February.
Yeah. I wish you a recovery that's swift.
Yeah, and
Thank
I
you.
have two deeds. It's not the same without seeing your face, and I know exactly what you're going through, and I sending all my well wishes and love and support, bro. And I know a lot of people have reached out to you too, and wishing you well wishes. So we're gonna thank all of our watchers and listeners. I did mention too in the chat, shout out to Chris and Alex because those guys do support damn near everyone in all industries that has to do with any type of cleaning, whether it be windows, solar, whatever. It's like those guys are here for all of us. And I can't wait to see those two cats at the Elevate. I can't wait to meet you in person, Steve. It's going to be a hoot.
Likewise. Yeah, it'd be
And
good.
it's going to be great, man. I can't wait. And I seriously, now I have to go looking to see about possibly changing my flight. Even if I don't, I land early enough on Tuesday where I'd be able to at least catch 3/4 of the day,
Yeah.
which I know would be value as well. And just by talking to you this time, I can tell that you bring a tremendous amount of value to not only just the solar industry, but just in general. It's like safety, knowledge, pertinence to everything that it is that we do. I appreciate you popping in. Um, Everybody's sending you the well wishes. We're gonna also, I did type in the websites for all the links that you mentioned in the show. If anybody has any other questions, you can follow Steve online. And yeah, anything that you guys have for us in the future too, shoot them over to us. We
Yeah,
appreciate.
and I'm a whisker away from having 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. So if anybody wants to look me up on LinkedIn, look for the Tash, look for the sun at the start of my name. You'll know it's my profile. So yeah, just
Awesome.
follow me on LinkedIn as well, because I push some stuff out on LinkedIn, which is hopefully quite valuable to people as well.
So that's a new goal. Let's try and get him over the link on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, jump in. I'm on LinkedIn, so after I get offline, I'll jump in and say what up and give you a clink on there, a click on there on that link, and we'll get you over that 10K mark.
Nothing.
I cannot wait to meet you in person, man. I know it's going to be a great time. Jessica says totally worth the extra time spent here today. I couldn't agree more. I'm super glad that Chris got us lined up. And what
Yeah.
a episode, dude. You crushed.
Yeah, no, it's been my pleasure, as it always is, to do these things. It's always nice to know that there's value that can be given out to people. So I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much for your kind words. And yeah, we will meet each other in February, definitely.
You got it, my man. I look forward to seeing you on a Tuesday. No, if I don't make it there on Monday, I'll see you on Tuesday, the 17th, my
Yeah,
man. Enjoy the rest of everybody's day. Deeds, get well.
Thank
Friday,
you.
Gabe Gutierrez coming in online. So, Steve, if you're around at 1:30 your time on Friday and you want to say what's up to Gabe, you know where we're going to be. This will be uploaded to YouTube later today or tomorrow morning, and you can send it out and share it to any of your friends as well. So, there
I
you go.
will do that, and I will set an alarm on my phone now so that I can dial in on Friday.
Oh yeah, get
Awesome.
online. So, and I know Gabe's always prepared. He'll probably be following in the thread. You can send him a couple shout outs and say what's up to him as well. Hope everybody
Yeah,
has a
yeah.
great day. We'll catch you on Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern on Goo and Deeds. Deeds, what do you always tell them?
Change your rubber.
Change your rubber, and I hope your passion bucket's full, suckers. Stay sucker free. Have a great day, everybody. Stay up and stay gold.
Take care.
Take care.